checks and balances. That's up. This is up. Oh, son of a bitch! It did not change the category. It got the thumbnail, which is good. Altered content, because we will be listening to more AI generated music today. There we are. Keywords. All right. Now that that's all gravy, I can pop out chat. Okay, let's start from the beginning. I'm working on a game. Oh, Nano, get off my laptop. That would have been a catastrophe. No pun intended. Hey, can I help you? Have a seat, buddy. This jumpy motherfucker. All right, so I'm making a game, right? It's not bad, right? Like, not bad so far. There's still a lot to be done, but you know, that's expected. But there are some immediate things that I want to focus on. Numpad controls, for one. Numpad movement controls would be kind of nice. Or like a different control schema. I'm not exactly sure how I want to go about being able to do that, but actually one thing that we could do is implement it would be useful to actually implement the menus. So we develop a workflow for actually building menus, because that will be important. But I know also there are a number of different bugs that were reintroduced, or rather introduced, during the sprite and sprite group object migration, right? One of the obvious ones is when you move. For some reason, it's not remembering what the previous context was when you're moving in a certain direction. And so whenever you go to move, it's actually just like randomly selecting a context, and I'm not sure where it's actually pulling it from, because you can see the character's face go back and forth when moving in a single direction. And that's not what I want. So what I want for the character's face to just stay in one direction when you're moving. So wonder if there's bugs in this implementation. Hi, Void. Thank you for what? This is really where the direction gets that base. So where sprite gets chosen, like the context for which sprite's actually meant to be shown. Whoa. Okay, that would explain for something. Um, okay, so how to fix this? Entity type 3. Item. Yeah, that makes sense. Kind of. But we can always add a update component. Although technically speaking, Light shield. Oh. Yeah, so it's supposed to get really cold. Y'all ready for this cold weather coming up? Let me check what the weather's looking like here. So it's gonna be like in between 70 and 60 up until about midnight. And then from midnight to 7 a.m., it's going to go from 62 to 43, with the feels like in 35. And then, it's going to bottom out on Sunday at like 9 a.m. And then it's going to stay cold 9 a.m. Sunday. And then it's going to dip back down Monday night or Monday morning. Till about 10 in the morning. 9, 10 in the morning. Actually, the lowest will be 7 or 8 a.m. And then, how many days do we have of this? So Saturday, Sunday being the worst. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then Tuesday, then it's just kind of nasty. And it gets pretty cold again a week from Saturday. So we got like a week of bad cold that we about to go through. But we're gonna do what we can to stay warm. Eat some good food. Turn on a heater. Crank the CPU up a bit. In fact, let me take a look at my current usage. All right, so even sacrificing 4 cores to do some Monero mining while I'm while I'm streaming. Which is cool. So I could stream while I mine. And I'm not really taking that big of a hit. That's pretty good. Actually. I should pretty much just stream all the time, huh? I think that'd be a good idea. I gotta get my money up. I gotta start doing stuff. Alright. So we forgot to add update to shields. So that's probably why that was breaking after I made that change. Okay, so what changes did I make there? Mostly just small cleanup. One of the things, okay, so I can focus on just fixing this bug. Let's disable enemies at the moment. Also disable boxes. Let's disable creating any sort of weapons or potions. So there's, he shouldn't be changing his context left and right like that. That doesn't make any sense. So one of the things I want to do is add a thing to the debug panel that tells me something about that context selection, right? Like as a debugging feature, we can add things to our debugging panel. So debug panel buffer, basically just a very big, nasty format string. And it's pretty useful in terms of being able to get feedback from within the game in order to figure out what the fuck is going on. But sometimes shit like this happens, and it's like, all right, well, I gotta figure out what the fuck kind of crack I was even smoking when I wrote the shit to begin with, because I need some more of that, whatever that was. Speaking of, I'm fucking low on coffee, damn. I'm gonna fix that in a minute too. But before I do, I want to take a look at a couple things I want to add here. So it's clear that the character's direction is not changing because the selection tile box, that little green outline over the tile that glows, that sits in front of the player, it's kind of like the selection reticle in Stardew Valley. I don't know if y'all ever heard of a game like that, but I like that game, and that game has a bit of a, you know, flavor that really hits, and the selection reticle is kind of fire too, but I like green more than red, so we made ours green. And because that's not changing, I know that the direction of the player is also not changing, so the bug has to do more with like sprite selection as opposed to logical functionality. However, I'm still going to add to this shit right here two motherfucking things. One of them is going to be player direction, which is just an integer. The other is going to be a sprite context. Which is also just an integer. And at the moment, because I haven't actually assigned those values yet, we're going to put some placeholders in 0 and 0 so that code compiles. Now, we want to actually put something in there, right? Like, what were they again? Player direction. And then, player context. So let's create some new variables for those up here. We're going to hard code in some value at the moment for that. Then, what was it going to do? Oh yeah, int context. Player context equals we don't have access to the graphics over here, do we? Ooh, oh yeah, no. What we're gonna have to do is find a way to hook this context information into the debug panel in the draw code where it's actually done. We can't do it over here. Damn. I just realized. So, I think you meant to say Raylib, but yeah, I love ratlib too. You also spelled great wrong. It's two mistakes. Nikolai Ilodenos. Where did the Twitch chat go? There it is. Okay, so at the moment we have a logical oh yeah. Wait, I gotta fix that too. 2892. So we're no longer using that. So now we have a direction in the debug panel buffer, and we're going to have to also use hooking mechanisms in order to actually get the information about the sprite group in there as well. See player direction. Now it's not currently updating because we hard coded this in. So let's fix that to ct.get direction of hero ID dot value. Oh, what? Oh, he hasn't been created yet, has he? Hero ID dot direction none. See in the bottom left, bottom right. So that works. We'll go and check that in. So over in libdraw, right? So here we have a hooking mechanism where I can put whatever flag I want as a thing that we copy to the end of. Is this code correct though? This seems off. Destination source size. Destination source size. This size seems. Oh yeah, no, that makes sense, right? Well, let's test this out to make sure this works. Because if we can do this, although we do want access to the variables here, we should actually, I mean, while I do it over here, I specifically want to keep access to the graphics isolated from the game state. It's okay that we do it over here. Actually, we're not even doing it here. Even then, here we are. It's in sprite groups. Okay, so we've got that. We need that because then now we can actually access the sprite group for the hero to get info about like what his current context is. add this note because we are stepping out real quick. But before I go, I'm going to add some music. What kind of music do you like? Some people really had some good stuff to say about this one no vocals death metal track, so how about I put this on? So they were like, this goes unnecessarily hard, and I agree with them. What do y'all prefer, my old ass talking or death metal? I know y'all say death metal because I'm boring as shit. Sometimes people need to hear what I'm doing though. This should be all I have to do. Wait, no, context wasn't what I wanted. Or not current, rather. Current actually refers to which sprite in the sprite group we're currently animating. But then we want to actually actually get the current sprite. This current frame has to do with which frame in a particular animation we are currently doing. And then current context. That's actually what we want. Let's verify that. I've been on Void Linux, man. What's up? What's up, not a FBI honeypot? I got ZFS. Ain't that enough? Man, after so many years of being on Ubuntu, and I had already been on Gentoo even when I went back to Ubuntu, but Ubuntu was so refreshing after having spent so many years on both Mac OS and Windows. No, Muscle, if they upgraded, no. If they upgraded Muscle, if they fucking upgraded Muscle so that they use the version with create pthread So I actually fucking build a sprite because I like that software. God damn. Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask for them over at Void Linux to fucking upgrade Muscle so that they use a more current version of Muscle? Is that so much to fucking ask? I'm just saying. God damn. Linux nerds out here be fronting and shit, being like, yo, use Void. And I'm like, yo, Void is old even in comparison to Debian at that point. I would much rather run Gentoo with Muscle and try to get it running with current Muscle than I would go back to Void at this point. Though I have respect for Void and what they're doing, it's really just not my use case. Like, I can do almost everything that I want to do on Void. I've even streamed on Void. I've even streamed on Void Linux and it worked well. But I couldn't build a sprite, so I couldn't, like, do everything I wanted. All right, current is actually returning current frame for some reason. Oh, whoa. I got these flip-flopped. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. That's insane. That's an insane bug. That was an insane bug. Holy shit. That was a typo on my part. So I knew it was something that broke since, like, changing everything over. But goddamn, that was bananas. So what was happening there was it was setting the direction of the character based on, like, which frame of animation we were currently on instead of the proper value I was supposed to be using. That should be fixed. Oh yeah, that's fixed. Oh yeah, we are so back. God damn, it feels good to be a gangsta. Shit. Oh man, are you kidding me? That shit's so bananas. That was such a fucking stupid bug too. Literally flip-flop two variables in a class. I'm surprised that the game ran at all, to be honest. Thousands of lines of code and the bug comes down to just one flip-flop of 2 lines. That's dangerous C for it, but that's why we like living on the edge, because with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, like 32-bit is really cool from a embedded context perspective, but even then, like, I don't even know why you wouldn't necessarily want more from that point. But at a certain point, it's like, if we're so, like, caring about speed, we could even go lower and go 16-bit, right? Like, do we really need virtual address translation? Do we really need that in an operating system? Is it necessary to make every process think that it has access to the whole thing? Or is it something that we could potentially write like a small operating system ourselves, where we just manually manage the memory space ourselves. Hi, Grace. What are you going on about? Grace don't like it when I start talking loud or when I start typing loud. But it's also starting to be in that gap between now and her dinner time. So actually now we fixed that bug. I think I can... Moving as a context, which, yeah, we just fixed that. Literally what we just fixed. This one's like super low priority. Standing on top of dead bodies. There is a bug with the lighting system there. Let's demonstrate that first. Oh wait, we're gonna have to create some enemies. Alright, you see, I just killed 2 dudes. Generally speaking, this moving around in this room effectively works. Like, you know, the behavior of the light's kind of what I want, kinda. But whenever I walk on top of a dead body, everything is now shaded. And this is incorrect behavior. So I'm gonna have to take a look at how I'm currently handling the shadowing in order to figure out exactly how do I fix this. Neither Monero nor weed is illegal. But thank you, not FBI honeypot. I appreciate that, man. We've been having a fun chat on Twitter, haven't we? I don't know if the kids call it Twitter anymore, but I'm calling it Twitter because I'm old as shit. But anyone who gives a shit about privacy is definitely an old hat. These kids don't know what they're missing. My dog is yelling at me for some reason. I'm gonna bring her on camera real quick. He wants to say hi. Usually about now she starts having some extra pee-pee that she gotta do. I know we just stepped out, but we're gonna step back out again. We're probably gonna step out even another time between now and din time. So give me a few, y'all. All right, all right, all right. What was I doing? I think I just fixed a major bug, right? So what else? Oh yeah. Standing on top of dead bodies. Right. I think I know where the code I need to do is fix this shit is. All right, dead body light bug fix. You better not be fucking with my computer. No. Wait. Shoot. Don't fuck with my computer. Especially not while I'm streaming. Shithead. Yeah. Yeah, that was rude. No, dude, motherfucker, I'm serious. Get over here. You know why he's being like this? Because I fed Gracie early, and his dinner time's not for another 45 minutes. And I'm not going to reprogram the guy that we affectionately call over here Mr. Robot, which is the automated feeding system that I got for this guy. So I can be pretty hands off. All I got to do is make sure that dude's filled up, and this dude self-regulates. You know, he's not as much work to feed, unlike my grandmother's dog. However, I gave him snacks. I gave him snacks when I fed Gracie, so it's not like he hadn't gotten any food. He's just being a little shithead right now. You. Yeah, you. Yeah. Oh, it'll give you attention, and now you're acting all cute and cuddly. As soon as I focus on the computer and I'm not giving him any shit, he starts like wilding out though. Look at him go. Don't hit me with your tail, bitch. Shoves his ass in my face. He's a funny guy. Oh man. Where did the chat window go? There we are. Okay. Let's see, update sprite. No, it's in all right, let's start from the beginning. On every frame, this function gets called draw frame. Makes sense, right? Like duh. So every frame we draw frame. So okay. Whatever. But at the beginning of drawing the frame, we do a bunch of shit called update sprite spree. And then if frame's dirty, we update effectively our cache. So, because like we don't need to draw a new frame every like every frame we don't need to draw a new frame. Like sometimes the state change between one frame and another might be such that the frame doesn't actually change because the drawing rate like doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be like something updating every frame. So you can like save CPU by like caching the texture. Duh. I don't know. This is something I kind of worked out on my own. So draw frame 2D to texture, right? Calls draw frame 2D. Draw frame 2D. This is what's actually drawing when you're in the dungeon. So we perform a camera lock on. Now we're drawing in mode 2D for the camera, right? Like this orients the camera top down so that you're looking at a particular part of the canvas effectively. Because only a certain amount of stuff can fit inside of your window. Whether or not it's full screen, whether or not it's like 1080 or 800 by 600 or 1080 by 720 or 1280 by 960 or 1920 by 1080 or whatever any of the multiples above that are. That's all limited. It's all finite. There's only so much stuff you can put in a window. So you clear the background and you draw dungeon floor. What happens in draw dungeon floor? Well, for every tile in the dungeon floor, we draw it. And for every tile in the dungeon floor, this is what it means to draw it. So then we have some checks to see if an entity is dead or alive. I could probably even one-line those. And then NPC. Oh, yeah. So then for every different type of NPC that's listed here, we draw that NPC or that entity type. And this process is very expensive computationally. There's a lot going on here that we're basically repeating every single time because of the way that I wanted to handle this. Because the drawing order matters, right? Like you can have a situation where you have one tile and multiple things on it. And the order matters because having to go through every single position and being able to go, okay, well, what was the value here? What was the value there? And doing this once per frame, right? Like this happens once per frame. There's a lot of shit happening once per frame. So what does this function do? Because this is where, and actually, you know where is actually fail. There's two places that are failing, I believe. So, but it's in dungeon floor. So in draw a dungeon floor tile, this we're having a situation where this function is coming back because we're getting all right, let's try it. I think that's fixed. Oh, it's easy enough. Let's do something fun. You see this guy? Caught on fucking camera. About to fucking do his thing. Look at him. Look at this piece of shit. This fucking cat. Goddamn. Look at you act like you're not even about to do some shit. Caught you in the act. I caught you. We all caught you. Oh. All right. Food and hunger. Right. Yeah, we're not even using zombie yet. Get off the laptop. Come on, man. Come on. I'm minding the narrow on it. He has opened so many terminal windows. and so many tabs. Stealing CPU that could be used for mining. I'm gonna just leave that config file closed. It's still cranking out hashes. So whenever we create a new component in this system, hunger points. Or better yet, there's our new component, hunger points. So whenever we create an NPC, whenever we create an NPC, we want to attach hunger points to it now. We're going to come back to using tactics eventually. The way we set hunger points, our newly created component. First, the ID, which is the key into the component table. The secondary key is the type that you want to set. And that's done using the template parameter. Then, whatever value corresponds to that component type, you just add it. In this case, hunger points T with a starting value and a max value. Because I don't know what to put here, and I just need to put something. I'm going to start with 100, 100. And eventually might find that doing it this way ends up being more pleasant to work with than otherwise. All right. Now we actually have a hunger point set. We need to actually introduce a new entity class. Or entity type, rather. Actually, it's not even going to be that. It's going to be an item. A new item type. We'll eventually come back to do wand and fuck around with arrows and quivers and rings and potions. But we need food. What's the first food? We could do an oni. We could do an onigiri. A bowl of rice as homage to Sheer and the Wanderer. I forget what all of the other ones are. I can kind of guess. Really, I could make them whatever I want, but it'd be kind of nice to. So I think the left one over here is taco. I think this is mug of root beer. I think this is corn on the cob. No, this is onigiri, bowl of rice, fried egg on the far left. That may or may not be pizza. A lot of these are kind of just like plate of foods. I'm not sure at all what the thing on top are. That's a chicken drumstick, if I've ever seen one. I think I actually used that in There Can Be Only One. Or rather, There Can Be. That was the name of the game. Okay, so like for instance, if I want to snip one of these out. Now, the basis for my graphic system is that you need padding on every side of a given object in order to render it properly, so that if there were some animations that overflow from the initial 8x8 area, then it correctly aligns itself. So, an example of this. So here's 8x8, right? Like with the it almost takes it up like every spot. So now let me convert this to a 32x32 and maintain it in the center, and may or may not even choose to move it up so that it is not so aligned with the bottom of that section. So to do that, we use the selection tool, grab an area, and then we can use the arrow keys, which I fucking love. Press up, maybe do it by like 2 pixels. And give me 1 second. It looks like we already have a burger and coffee that we can use. Which is cool. So we're going to go and save onigiri though. And actually we can compare burger and coffee. Oh, and even then we're even doing the old school thing here with coffee, where we're animating it on a per tile, but I want to start migrating away from this and start using kind of like a periodic, numerically based kind of floating system. Oh yeah, so we're gonna have to regenerate textures. Now we're not using food type yet, but we are preparing. I think we will be able to compile after we do generate Yeah. Okay. Hopefully didn't break much. Okay, so far so good. Forgot that I actually have a student later. Been on so long already. Oh yeah, and y'all haven't been able to see anything I'm typing for the last couple minutes. I know why it's not rendering. Went through that whole dungeon. How long have I been on? Let's see. We got some bug fixes done. Food's going to be an important part. So we want to draw food. Oh, it should be drawing. Huh. Oh, I know why. We never set that it's an item. I see no harm in making 100 burgers. That sounds kind of good. Excellent. Bad optional access. Create sprite group. Well, that looks good so far. So burger, onigiri, and coffee. Which I will need more of shortly. I'm doing some real interesting stuff though. Like, I'm making some homemade drinks. I think the onigiri actually does belong on its own. Like I moved it up originally. I think it should actually be like right there. So let's hop back. Okay, that's looking good so far. And while I'm here, I want to go ahead and fix I say fix, it's really kind of a change, just a little change, right? Now let's imagine for a moment we have a oh wait, sorry, imagine a moment we have another layer. And this is an 8x8 area. And we want this dead center, right? So we start from the top left, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want the sword to fit nice in there, right? So when we click away from that layer, we get that. One could argue for like the sword being right here versus right here, right? One of these could work better than the other, but effectively there we go. Now we also want to do dagger. We'll also do axe. We'll also do, I mean, I'm not making the other ones at the moment, so we could skip them for the moment. But I will fix those as well. And the nice thing is this will reduce the amount of space that these things take up on disk, which is kind of a win. But it was kind of silly how I was doing that previously. However, the system will work, so all we have to do is rerun the texture generate or the texture header generator, and then everything will be good there. So now shield, right? So let's do buckler. Even though I'm not spawning buckler at the moment, we'll always come back to it. Kite shield, the one that we have been spawning, and then wooden tower shield. Which was interesting getting working from a certain perspective. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I just have fond memories figuring out how to go about dealing with a situation. Also, I'm going to have to leave in the next hour, so I should probably start wrapping things up here. Okay, so back over in here, we gotta run generate texture files again. So as you can see, the texture file generator has correctly updated the fact that we no longer have 4 frames of animation for the axe sprite file, that we only have 1. So the end result of us doing that when we actually run the game now is that the items will appear kind of flat and not like moving at all when we actually run the game and see them on the tiles, which is fine. It's actually what I want right now at this moment, because we're going to eventually introduce kind of like a periodic floaty type component system where individual items can be attached as having floating, so that way it can also float like characters and things like that. I forgot to do it for potion. Let's do it for potion also. Now, torch, because it's actually an animation, we want to leave like that. And we're not currently using them or implementing their mechanics, because we'll have to also take into consideration things like player light source, as well as the existing shadow mechanics. What other ones are we doing? Stack's already a single one. We also want to do MP potion, because we'll eventually be using that. Arrow. All right, so we've updated those, so we're going to run that again. Now you can see the files that we just updated are now correctly reflected. Okay. 3 hours in. I think it's now a good time to take a break. Well, thank everyone for joining. We hit over 100 views today. Very happy with that. Appreciate everyone who's stuck around. Shout outs to Not an FBI Honeypot for the $5 dono earlier. Matt, appreciate that. Dude's got some really interesting content. You should check out his streams too. Also, always willing to engage people via X in rousing discussions about the legality of marijuana, as well as Linux and Debian nerdery. So, once again, more to come in the near future. Stay tuned, stay glued, and stay warm this weekend, because it's going to be a cold one. Until next time, everybody. Dojo signing off.